Hi guys, welcome back. Belinda here. Right, so I'm just measuring my resin. We're doing a resin piece today, and I'm going to be needing, I'm using the casting resin, so it's 3 to 1, and therefore I need 300 grams. Okay, so I have my resin all mixed up, and I have a little, hopefully you can see that, so it's a little miniature clock. What I'm going to try and do is I have some beautiful mica powder. You can see that? It's all shimmery and shiny and bling bling. So I have my very thin paintbrush, and I'm going to attempt just to get into this 3. So I'm putting some on. Oops. And I'm just going to gently knock it off all over the show. It's really hard to work with gloves on, I must say, especially when you're doing this kind of art. So, of course, I have it all over the top here. I just want to add a teeny bit down here. And get into all those little crevices. Right, so I'm just brushing that gold into there. And I'm just going to take this and dab the rest of that off there. Hopefully I can get it off. Okay. So now I have, I'm going to pour a bit of transparent in, but first of all I'm going to mix up some in this cup. So I have a teeny weeny little cup here. You see my little cup? So I'm just going to add some in here. And then I'm going to be using Royal Ruby, Bade Art Metallics. Again, I'm going to add just a tiny bit in there. I don't know how much is actually in this bottle, and I'm just hoping I haven't used anything else in there that that shouldn't be in there, like Floetrol. Because sometimes when I've only got a teeny bit left in those bottles, I just put the Floetrol straight in. Okay. So I don't want this to be too transparent. At the moment it's looking quite transparent. A bit far too transparent. So I'm going to add some more. That should be heaps. Hopefully. Just mix, mix, mix and have a look. Don't know guys, this is still looking a little bit transparent. Let's go in with the resin. I'm just putting a little bit of resin in here. Just let it run around. There we go. Okay. Oh, hopefully it's not going to overflow. Right guys, I think I've got far too much in here. Big bubbles. And then I can just go around here making some patterns. And I'm just getting rid of those bubbles. So I'm going to gently just try and slide this over. So I can work on the next part. So now I have this big one. So this will be the next part of it. And I'm just going to pour this in. And I think I'll hit that with a torch or a heat gun. Okay guys, I'm going to let this dry overnight and then we'll carry on with the next step. Alright guys, so on to the next step. So let's demold that. And I'm going to try very, very careful not to put fingerprints on it. So let's do it this way. Now that looks really, really pretty. I'm just wondering why there's a... Is that a little hole? I'm not sure, but anyway. So if you can see that, that looks really, really nice. I love the way that the three turned out. Right, so I'm going to now use the 24K gold. So that's the 24K gold pen, and I'm going to gently go around the edges with that pen. Give it a good shake up. So I'm just holding the pen in place. Turn it around this way. Trying not to get fingerprints on there. And then I'm just gently going around the edge. And I'm going to keep going around like that until I've reached the other side, and then I'm going to leave it to dry, and then we'll get on to the next step. So this is the finished edges with the 18 karat gold pen. Give it a beautiful shine. And on to the next step. So I have gone ahead and marked off my 12, 6, 3 and 9, and I've just placed in these here, which is a cog. Really it's just the cogs and wheels. So I do have a whole packet of them, and I've just chosen what I needed to use. So I'm placing them in here, and then I shall decide how I'm going to pour this. So this I think is going to be the 12, and then I'll be using the same one as the 6, because I want them to be relatively big. And then I have this beautiful colour for the 9. And then I'll be placing this in by the 3 with a little silver one on top, just to give it a little bit of added extra. So I'll gently place that in line with the 3, and put that down there, and I'm hoping that nothing is going to float up, and if it does I'm going to have to push it back into place. Make sure that, yep, that's in line. Because I don't want it skew. Right, now that I have that in place, I will measure and mix my resin. Right, so I have mixed up that and all of my stringy bits have gone. And ready to pour. Now I know that these are going to move around. I'm expecting them to. So I'm just gently pouring in slowly so that I have as little movement as possible. Okay, so everything over here is covered. There's a little bit of the numbers sticking up, which I'm all good with, as long as everything else is covered. I'm just going to use this and see if that is floating around. Okay. And moving these back into place a little bit. Right. I'm going to spray this with alcohol, isopropyl alcohol, just to get rid of some bubbles. So if you do this, the bubbles should pop up relatively quickly. Now, oh, guys, I just dipped my hair in the resin. You're going to have resin here. That's no good. And that is why every time you do your work, your art, if you've got long hair, tie it up. Right, so now I have more. So now I have more of them. I am just going to now randomly place them. So I think I might just put some here. Put a gold one in between there. And I'll just move it in closer. I must say, these colours I have chosen out of all, the packet, because I really, really like them. Okay, let's see. I don't want to overdo it with them, but I just want to balance it out. Put that one there. That one there. And just move these a little bit. So the first layer that I poured has actually been sitting for about 7 days. So they are pretty firm. Well, the first layer is pretty firm. Right, I quite like that. So now I will leave this for another couple of days, and we'll come around and finish it off then. Okay, it's time for the unmolding. This has been sitting for quite a long time, probably about 5 days. So if you remember, we did the first pour of resin and let it sit for 5 days, or it was 5 or 7 days, and now I've done the second, which has also been about 5 or 7 days. And the reason being is because this is casting resin. Casting resin takes quite a while to harden completely. So let's take this out. So I still have quite a bit still to do on it before it's completely finished. Oh, and there we have it. So that obviously is the back. I'm very impressed. There's only one bubble there, which you're not going to see anyway. And yeah, so crystal clear. It's pretty thick. So on to the next stage. So I'm just going to put this down on a cloth so it doesn't get scratched. And then I have decided to just use a side plate, the glass side plate, and try and center that as much as I can. Yep, looks pretty center. And I'm going to be using the 18 karat gold leafing pen, and I'm going to try, hopefully I'm not going to mess this up, and go around the plate, because I do feel like it needs something extra. So I have quite a bit of work still to do. So let's see. Hopefully I can do this without moving it. Oops, that one went around. Make sure I'm doing this right. So I have to keep turning the pen. So I've got to, oops, so that it's even. Make sure there's a good line around it. I'm going to have to go over this side here again. So guys, if you're interested in purchasing a clock like this, or just, you know, without this other clock in it, you are more than welcome to email me with bade@gmail.com, where I can take orders, and you will need to place put down a deposit. Okay, so I have a little bit of a mess there, so I'll have to fix that up, which is easily remedied. And go around this side. So you really do need to make sure that the nib is sitting flat. Okay, so time to lift that off. And I think what I'm going to do is, if I need to, I was going to clean that off, but plate has a gold lining. So if you want to, you know, this section over here, you can see, just bring you closer, you can see how it's bled in there. So you can either use some B.A.D. Now while it's still wet, I'm going to go on to the next step. So what I've decided to do is, because I've got these numbers that are still resin, and that's actually how I wanted them to be, I'm going to paint alternate numbers. So I've got splendid gold and shimmery silver. So this is actually going to be a very interesting end result. So watch till the end so you can see the whole thing in its entirety. So I'm just placing a little bit, oops, and then I have a very fine bristle. Then I'm going to go in and do a 2. Okay guys, now I'm going to go in with the gold. And then I'll leave that to dry, and then we'll go on to the next step. Right guys, so once that is dry, it is now dry, I am going to do the edges. I'll take this gold leaf pen again, and I'm just going to go around the edges. So I might have to do 2 or 3 strips or stripes, and very gently go around. So that's going to take a while, so I'm going to skip past to the next step.